Hi, my name is Lisa Galloway. This is Beauty from Inside and Out. Welcome, welcome. If it's your first time and if you're a repeat watcher, thanks for coming back. Today's topic is makeup brushes, eye makeup brushes, or are they just eye makeup brushes? I've got 4 brushes, which are really 8 because they're double-ended. We're talking a little bit about how to multi-use them. Sometimes you're stuck with what you have and you're thinking, you have to think outside the box. So, how I got creative to use it than just more than eye makeup brushes. Let's talk about this.
If you're here, then you woke up today. And that is a blessing. Don't take that for granted. Don't waste it.
All right, so these brushes were created for your eyes. Clearly, they were. But what I love about these this whole brush line with Seint, they are from Seint, and the marketing behind Seint is that a lot of their products individually were created for multitasking, which is one of the things that really attracted me when I started to learn about this company some years ago. Because why not? Think about it. Why not have something that can take care of 3 or 4 things at once, right? And instead of having to have 4 or 5 different products, you can have like 1 or 2 and it can do double its work. So that's the first thing. The bristles to these brushes are superb. They are soft. They stay intact. Clearly, if you take care of them that way as well, by doing your part on maintaining with your cleaning and not being rough, making sure you're using the right things to clean them. And I think one of the biggest mistakes, and you've probably heard this maybe if you're really into like just beauty tips, is never to soak your brushes. I know I used to do that back in the day and I didn't realize that it was just cutting the length of that brush. So we know why, right? It just starts to pull apart the glue that's holding everything together in your brush. So soaking them, although it seems like it's a fast way to do it, you just soak them, put them all in there, and then you just lay them out to dry. But if you take a little time and do it properly, I have like other videos where I show how you can do that as far as like washing your brushes. There's 2 different ways, in my opinion. You can do the overnight or you can do a very quick disinfected kind of wash. And I use this particular brush cleaner, which I'll use today because I'm going to demonstrate how we can use these 4 brushes in 2 different ways, right? One for how it was created. There are our eye makeup brushes, but then how you can use them in another way. So let me go ahead and start with the first one. Stop rambling on. This one is the eyeshadow brush. Clearly it was created for eyeshadow application with this very fluffy end and then a more smaller to get into like the eyelid. So let's not get into the whole thing of like putting on the actual eyeshadow because that's what it was created to do. Now let me show you what it can do besides that. So this end can be used for even lip application, okay? Our lip and cheek colors are cream based, so it's easily, you swipe it in, you apply your lip wear with the other end of this. Again, it's cream. So when you're using a powdered eyeshadow, so that it's not grabbing onto the cream and then mixing in with your powder, that's when I go ahead and use the brush cleaner, because you can clean your brush immediately. You just take your brush cleaner, and I know this video is not about brush cleaner, but just to show you the how you can use it instantly without having to wait overnight. So you just spray it onto a paper towel or directly onto the brush, and you just swirl, and I clean my brushes so I'm not gonna see any dirt coming out, but it just disinfects, removes that coloring off of the bristles, and then you can go right in and use it for cream if you've been using it for powder. Use it for eyeshadow, use it for a lip wear for the other side. But then this also side, besides your eyeshadow, it's a great way to also add a powdered highlight, right, to maybe like the tops of your cheek. And just, have you ever used a bigger brush and then you end up getting that highlighter like outside of where you want it exactly? This helps you control to keep your highlighter right at the exact spot of where you want to place the highlighter. I think it's great for that. The other area too is just maybe down the nose of your bridge if you want to highlight that as well. Going back to this other end, you can use it on your Cupid's bow. Perfect, sits perfectly right on that Cupid's bow to add a little bit of like that highlight that you can do on the drop of your nose to your Cupid's bow. So again, it could be used so many ways beside an eyeshadow brush, which is what it's called. Okay, they are currently, and the reason I'm putting this video up is because why not take advantage? They are currently from today, which is the 25th, all the way through the 30th, or rather, take that back, is going to be available for you on the 30th, all the way through the 10th of May. So I'm giving you a whole kind of week to kind of sit and think about which ones you want to get. Maybe you want to get them all. 25% off, that's not bad. Again, they're double-ended. You're getting 2 brushes for the price of 1. So again, eyeshadow brush. Okay, so let's move on to this other brush, which is your typical spoolie brush. Now this one's called a line brush, and clearly we use it for either fixing your eyebrows, right? Whether you're applying any kind of product to your brow, you can use it. So this was created for that specifically, as well as this really unique other end of the brush. Now, let me bring this close to you. Can you see the backing? I don't know if you can see that. Let me go ahead and get something that's a little bit darker in contrast. Can you see how there's a slight to that bristle? Okay, that is perfect for having hair-like strokes on your brow. Okay, and again, whether it was created for that, I'm not sure. It probably was, but that's what you can use that for. The other thing is to create maybe a very pretty wing onto your eyeliner. It's perfect because of the way that it's slanted to just have the little wing. It keeps it, you're able to keep that line in control, hence the line brush, right? You can just place that and you don't even have to move much, but just drag a little bit of that line, making it perfect for you to add a slight wing to your eye look if that's what you want to go ahead and do. So again, that's what it's created to do. Now the other thing you can go ahead and do with this brush is you can line your lips easily. It just allows you to curve, because it has that curve. You can line your lips before you apply your lipstick or your lip wear. Perfect for that. Okay, so that's the line brush. Let's move on to one of my I'm not gonna say my favorite because I kind of like them all, but it's probably, as far as the eye makeup, it's probably one of my second, and I'm gonna show you what's my first favorite, but this is like my second favorite brush, which is the smudge brush. That's what it's called. Now you have one side which is more rounded and poofier, and then you have one that's just slightly more pointier. It was created to have a little bit, to be able to smudge your eyeshadow right onto your lid, right? That's where the name smudge comes from. So clearly it was another eye brush that is for, and the size of it is perfect. It hits the area of your lid perfectly. Perfect. Now, besides what it was created for, what I like this brush is contouring. Contouring for your cheeks or your jawline. Let me go ahead and just demonstrate, because this is, I think, just perfect for it. And although we do have a specific contoured brush, if this is all you have, it makes a great brush to go ahead and do that with. So I'm going to take the end that has a little bit more of that pointy side, and I'm going to take a little bit onto my brush. I'm using one of the contours here, and just enough to create the line that goes right where my contour is. So I have, can you see that? I'm getting up close. And then you can flip the brush over and start to pat that in. Take a little more if you need to. It just allows that pointy side for you to have more of a detailed area of where you're putting that contour. And again, this is if you're in a pinch and all you have is just this particular brush, but you want to do a contour and you don't have another brush to go with it. Same thing with the jawline. I take a little bit more and I go underneath. This just makes it so easy to create that line. And then you take the other side that doesn't have any of the products and you're able to blend that in. Now, if you wanted to go back clearly and use it for the powder with for your eye look, your handy dandy brush cleaner, which I think, seriously, this is something I think we all should have. Take your brush. Now you're going to see how it's going to easily remove the coloring off of your brush that you used. Look how pretty and look how nice and clean it leaves that. And then you're ready to go back in and use it for your eyes without having to feel like I've got now cream on that brush and I'm going to transfer it over to my eyes. Totally clean new brush to go in with your powdered eyeshadow. So perfect for contouring, which I never thought of until I was in a pinch and had this brush and I wanted to do a contour, and this was perfect. So my last brush from the 4 that I'm going to talk about, this one is called the Multitasker. It is truly that, because this does a ton. I like it so much that I bought a second one. So I use it so many different ways because I now have one for the cream and one for my powders. But besides the obvious of what it was created to do, it's a multitasker brush. That is the name. So I think that many of us ladies immediately thought, because of its size, that this was created for the eyes because it's a smaller brush. But it can do so far much more than just an eye look. I love this brush for so many reasons. I love it to put on my actual lip wear. I love this to line my lips. So I can use this one or I can use that line brush. But this one also has the perfect curve to do that lining on your lip. I love this also for blemishes. So case in point, I'm going to show you, I don't know if I can get kind of up and close. I'm going to show you right here. Can you see how I have a little bit of a discoloring right here? It's just one of like the darker pigmentations that I have. But if I take my brush, and I can take even the smaller end and put a little bit of that product on there and go in and place it there and then even tap it with my hand, and it's going to erase that area. Look at how incredible. And again, because of the size of this other end is so tiny and it's got a little bit of a point to it, you can use it for those blemishes. Whether you have a pimple that's drying out and you want to camouflage it with a little bit of makeup and you don't want to go over the actual area, because then you can, it makes it look more obvious. But if you pinpoint it to exactly where you're having that problem, it erases the problem without messing up the rest of your makeup look, right? So blemishes, perfect for that. Perfect. I think this brush is uniquely for those blemishes. And let's keep it real. We are always going to have at some point something we're trying to diminish, minimize on our makeup that we were not expecting that day, because our skin is changing forever and every day. So the multitasker, perfect also for giving yourself a very detailed nose contour. Because of the flatness of the brush, you can take and do like a nose contour and be able to have more of that steady hand, right, to keep the nose contouring right where you want it, versus using a bigger brush and then having to blend, and then it doesn't, and then you're like, where did the contour go? So this is perfect. It's the perfect brush for not just your eyes, but just all over for other things besides your eye makeup. So again, guys, 4 brushes, which I really say are 8 because they're double-ended, 25% off all the way through the 10th of May. So if not for you, think even for a friend. I think a lot of times we can even gift that out to someone, right? Maybe get one for you, get one for a friend, you know, wrap it in a pretty bow with something else. Like, I think that sometimes we even don't get ourselves these, and when we get it to someone, they're pleasantly surprised, because it's like, oh wow, like I wasn't ever thinking about that, but thanks. So a gift is perfect. But for yourself, I mean, get yourself one or however many. Think of the ways that I've explained on how you can use them and which one you think you can get more benefit out of, right? The last 2 I mentioned were like kind of my favorites, the smudge and the multitasker, but you choose. Okay, that's today's video. I hope this is helpful. I hope you take advantage of this really great sale. There are other things that are also going to be on sale with Seint, along with the brushes, and I will go ahead and let you know in the descriptions below a few of the eyeshadow looks for colors that you can get. I'm gonna go ahead and read them to you so that you'll know what they are, and then you can click on them. So one is called the Villa Collection. It has the color Revival, Soul, Basic, and Cocoa. Another collection is going to be the Manor. That one has got Zion, Bright Eyes, Drift, and Butterscotch. And then, I'm gonna insert pictures here so that you can go ahead and see what they look like, and then find them in the site below. Again, you're gonna go to the Seint site. The other one is called the Terrace Collection, and this is it here. It's got Claire and On Wednesday, Gilded, and Cafe. And then our last one is called the Estate Collection, and this is it here. It's got Cupcake, which is one of my favorites, Stay Golden, Angel's Landing, and Philly. Beautiful 4 different combinations. I think you'll find something in there for you of maybe what's your particular style. So they are discounted when you get that collection. So think collection and maybe a brush. And then of course there are a few new palettes that are coming out. Let me show you a couple that this here palette is called Keepsake. I think it's so pretty. Look at the flowers to that. It's just so spring, it's so summer. All of the palettes have a mirror inside, so perfect for your eyeshadow applications. You put your 4 combination eyeshadows in here, and they're magnetized, so they go in, they come out. When you're done with like one particular color, you can just pull the tin out and then go ahead and replace it. But isn't this gorgeous? This is a beautiful palette, and this is what's considered a 4 tin. Okay, so it does hold like the long tins that we have for, again, this was called the keepsake. So that's one of my favorites, at least from the 4. There are 4 different palettes. And the other one that I have, and this one to me, I don't know, it was just so, it's romantic. So let me show you. This is the one, and this one's called Always. Isn't it? I mean, even just the name, I think is so pretty. So this one's called Always, and you can see like it's very plain, and you can see like the flower that's just kind of coming over on the other end. But isn't this just so pretty? This is romantic. I think this is a very romantic palette, but I just love it. It's got these pretty petals of purple and pink lavender. It's like that's my coloring there. I just love this color. But there are 2 other ones. Here are a couple of the other ones, and it is, I believe, called, I'm forgetting the names. I'm gonna add the names here below. But 2 other palettes, you know, to whichever of your likings, grab one of those, as well as your shadow and your brushes. But guys, if you are not even interested in the palettes and the eyeshadows, definitely take advantage and grab a brush that you're gonna spend a whole lot less with the savings of 25%. And then you have a brush that will last you for years to come. All right, I will catch you in my next video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. Love you.